pushing our rights.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, there's always the point of, oh, why arm yourself? The government's so powerful, we'll just nuke you, whatever. Well, it's actually very hard to fight large, populations that are all armed and spread out in a diaspora, whether you're in rice fields or in the Middle East. It's always proven difficult. And if you can just psychologically disarm a population by convincing them that they don't want or need or even have these things in their awareness. It's so funny, actually, when I was checking in for my flight, on the way here, there was a sign behind us that said, declare if you have a gun. And the Canadian guy standing beside me was asking the lady, do a lot of people actually bring guns from here, Vancouver? And the lady was like, oh, believe it or not, they do. And he's like, I thought no one owned them. And this was a conversation I witnessed. They want that to be the average person's thought process. They want the average person to not even conceptualize or conceive that. Why would I need a gun? No one does that. That's for Hicks.
It's a long-term strategy, right?
Yeah.
So they've been largely successful, I think, honestly. Like, unless you're a person that is, it tends to be people that are pro Second Amendment in the U.S. They tend to be people that are also politically motivated, politically active. The reason that there hasn't been success in the U.S. with significant anti-gun legislation and gun control, the reason that there's been victories for the past 20 or so years so predominantly is because of the fact that the people that are pro-gun are so politically active. The idea that there's a lot of money going to individual Congress people from the gun industry, that's a fallacy. The money that's going to the money that is actually big money is from Raytheon. They're making missile batteries. They're making drones. They're making serious, the kind of weaponry that's sold to states. The companies that make small arms generally don't have these big contracts, and they're not giving tons of money. The idea that the NRA is responsible is a fallacy. Most gun owners really look at the NRA as a meme and as a joke, and it's where all the FUDs go. So the idea that it's something other than grassroots preventing significant legislation, that's all a fallacy.
But I think we're winning. Yeah, for sure. We're so lucky that the 20th century was televised and recorded, because what Hitler did was so egregious. He disarmed his population and then sent in the shock troops to control them. And that will never happen again.
Well, I think you got a correction for us.
Sorry?
I think you got a correction for what you just said.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
it's in the documentary.
Yeah, that's right. There's a meme that says that Hitler, he took all the guns, right? But it actually started right after World War I.
Yeah.
And Germany, because they lost the war, they had to abide by the Treaty of Versailles, and in that treaty was required that they disarm the citizens. So it was in Japan.
That was 1920, right?
1919, 1920. So it was the Allies that actually required that of Germany to disarm the population.
So they disarmed the enemy.
PB. Remind me again, Ethel. What does PB stand for? Pretty badass. That's right.
No matter what you think PB stands for, property brokers are your best choice around here for real estate.
Used a policy that was already in place against the people. And this is what's so interesting is we always say, like, we're going to put in these policies for our side of politics, like for the lefties, but you guys don't realize that as soon as a government that you really disagree with gets in power, they can utilize those policies against you.
But here's the important
Germany.
An important point that was brought up in Infringed. In 1920, Germany's forced to disarm their population. In 1928, they reintroduced permitting and gun registry. You want to own a gun, you got to prove that you need it for a legitimate reason to defend yourself, and then you can apply for a permit and register. And then
now you're on the list.
And when the Nazis come to power, they have a list of everyone who is armed, and they start hunting those people down.
And then, of course, the Nazis too, they relaxed gun restrictions for Nazi party members. But then, if you're a Jew, you are not allowed to own a gun. So again, gun control is not about your safety. Right?
Gun control is not about controlling guns. It's about using guns to control you.
And this is like why these lists are so important too. Like the registries in Canada, the long gun registries they tried to put in. And right now, actually, this January, the ATF are bringing in, you need to register your stabilizing braces with the ATF, or you need to hand in modified guns with them. These registries are all to be used against you eventually.
Phil, Didn't the Supreme Court overturn the pistol brace?
Currently, there's a stay on the enforcement of the pistol brace. It's only for people that are members of GOA and FPC, which are both great pro-gun organizations, Firearms Policy Coalition and Gun Owners of America.
So wait,
But you have, but they have the actual lawsuit against the ATF, and so their members are covered under the
but
state.
only their members.
Only their members.
So what if you sign up right now?
You can join now, and you will be covered by the stay, but you have to be a member of either the Firearms Policy Coalition, it's gun policy, it's ag gun policy on Twix, and or you have to be a member of GOA. Both are great. I'm a little partial to Firearms